Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. And we are here today to speak about if Tottenham are still favourites for the top four, seeing as what happened last night at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal, I mean, you got to say Arsenal were probably the better team yesterday, but the way they won the game, so lucky. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing on that football pitch yesterday. Christensen, he's been brilliant all season, then goes and does that. Literally just plays through Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah gets tackled 3 times in the box yesterday, and suddenly it just falls to him, and then he has a free shot, a goal to aim at. And then the penalty is pretty much a foul on Saka, pulls down, I think it was Azpilicueta. And I just don't understand what happened on that football pitch last night. And look, you've got to give credit to Arsenal, because at the end of the day, you just got to get the results at this stage of the season. That's what they did yesterday.
And look, they knew the pressure was on them, going to Stamford Bridge, needing to get a result to really force their way back into the top 4 race. It's regardless of the changes they made, which they did make a lot of changes, frustratingly enough. It was still a difficult game for them, and Arsenal had players missing as well themselves. It was pretty much a game of who was going to make less mistakes, pretty much, as it turned out. And I think Arsenal made a lot of mistakes in their own defensive third, which a few of them went unpunished. Just before they scored their second goal, they nearly gave a goal to Chelsea. They ended up going the other end and scoring. But you have to give credit to how they defended in the last half an hour. That's what I give them credit for, because they were very solid. They didn't give Chelsea any encouragement. They sat in that low block and with the 3 centre backs, and once and I know Lukaku was not having a good game, but once he went off, they didn't have any sort of presence in the box at all. Well, not that he was a presence beforehand, but that was the kind of time they needed Lukaku, probably in that last half an hour. And because he'd been so poor for the first hour, he was already been taken off. So all of a sudden, it was a task of Chelsea trying to play through Arsenal in their back three, and it's always going to be very difficult when Arsenal had 2 defensive mids and 3 centre backs, and obviously the 2 wing backs as well for a lot of the game. They were impressive in how they were able to fluidly change from a 3 at the back to a 4 at the back throughout the game. I would say that they on the break, Bukayo Saka was a massive danger, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant throughout the game. You've got to give him credit for that, and I thought Odegaard, Smith Rowe and Nketiah as well were causing Chelsea lots of problems, but
especially Odegaard,
but Chelsea, but Arsenal as well were shooting themselves in the foot constantly at the back, and I think they got away with it a lot of the time. They weren't able to, Chelsea weren't able to really take advantage of that, and I think Arsenal will feel like they come away with a deserved victory. I don't think they were magnificent in the game. I think they were probably the better team. I think it was more to do with how poor Chelsea were rather than how amazing Arsenal were. But look, it's Chelsea away, whatever team they put out, and to win that game is an impressive result, despite the luck they got. And the worrying thing is I'm not worried about the performance they gave or the result. I'm more worried about the potential confidence it could give them going now into the latter part of the season, where they just lost 3 on the bounce, and they were pretty much their hopes were dissipating. But now they've got new hope, and with games coming up against United and West Ham, which before the Chelsea game you're thinking going to be very tough games, and you don't expect them to win both of them. Now with new confidence, it could be different. However, United this morning appointing Ten Hag, maybe they might find some more motivation within themselves as well, you got to hope. But it's going to be very interesting from now to the end of the season. A week ago, before the Brighton game, it looked like Tottenham, just after Arsenal lost to Brighton and we won, it looked like it was going in one direction, and now there's been another twist. So it's going to, I don't know. I mean, I think it's completely up in the air. If it looks more and more likely now, it's going to come down to that game in the North London derby.
Yeah. When you're looking at Arsenal last night, is there anything in that game that shows you that they're a team to be feared in this top 4 race?
It's not about last night. It's about they're level on points with us. That's the reality. So we have to take them seriously, and we have to be aware that they're well in this race, and it's fine margins right at this point with 6 games left now. No games in hand. That's wiped out. So same games played now, same points. We're above on goal difference. So that's positive. I don't think Arsenal were without fault yesterday. I don't think it was as good as, say, our performance away at City. Like our performance away at City, we made obviously that mistake for the goal with Lloris, but we were like nearly impeccable in that game in terms of how we attacked and how we defended. I think it was a very different kind of performance from Arsenal, where Chelsea made a lot of changes. They were very unsettled in their back line. You could see that by the mistakes they were making. It was a proper battle in the midfield as well. It was kind of Arsenal give the ball away and then Chelsea give the ball away, and it was about who could take advantage the most. And it just seemed like Arsenal wanted it more, to be fair. That was the reality. I think Chelsea may be feeling too comfortable in their top 4 position, and coupled that with a lot of rested players, not their best team out, and making lots of mistakes, led to Arsenal getting the victory. But it wasn't a performance. The performance-wise, that didn't fear me. I don't think Arsenal was so good. Well, I didn't see a team yesterday where like, oh, they're amazing. Like they're gonna be winning every game. I think based on yesterday's performance, if they continue to play like that, they will continue to drop points. I'm sure of that, because I don't think those kind of mistakes are going to be common in every game that they play from now to the end of the season. But it could give them confidence, and obviously Nketiah getting a couple of goals where he hasn't been scoring might give him a striker who might give him the confidence to get a couple more from now to the end of the season. Their front three have been very stagnant over the past few weeks, and they look lively yesterday, so that's definitely a worry. But a lot like Chelsea went for the win yesterday. Like they came out on the front foot, throwing a lot of caution to the wind, throwing a lot of risk. You saw that with the goals they scored. You know, not many players back, and then any mistake was punished. Like when they go to, and maybe not Man United, but for example, when they go away to West Ham play in a very different way, low block. You have to try and break them down. They look to frustrate Arsenal. Chelsea didn't look to frustrate Arsenal at all. And it's going to be a very different prospect when they come up against these different kinds of teams. Obviously, you go to Newcastle away, who've got great home form at the moment. That's going to be a difficult game. So I'm sure I'm hoping anyway, this isn't going to spark a winning one from now to the end of the season, because I still think based on that performance, they've got mistakes in them. But what it could do is all those missed chances and frustrating performances they had in the recent weeks, they might have a renewed confidence to come flying out the traps against these teams now, and maybe have that belief that I think that might. That's the thing. It might instill a bit more belief into Arsenal than they had before the game. Because if they would have done as expected and are lost or dropped points in the game, then you're feeling like, okay, this is going the way we all thought it was going. It's going in Tottenham's direction. But with that Arsenal win, again in a game you didn't expect, all of a sudden you're thinking, well, what other results are they that we don't expect them to get? Are they going to get? Yeah. We don't know, but because as I said, each game is different. You can't. It's difficult to make judgments on other games based on a game. I think yesterday's game was completely unique. I've never seen a game like that of recent times. It was just mistakes galore.
Comedies, errors, wasn't it?
Both teams. Both teams will make, like, how many times in that first half did we say Arsenal back three, just give it straight to Chelsea in the midfield? And Chelsea didn't punish them anywhere near enough, and they should have in that first half. But the thing is, second half they did sharpen up Arsenal, and they got the lucky goal. That were ridiculous luck for that third goal. But you still have to defend it, and they did that.
Yeah, they did. With 11 men behind the ball yesterday. When you're looking at it, I mean, we kept banging on about how Spurs have the best fixtures going into the run-in out of the top four race, and Arsenal, Man United. But all of a sudden now, the fixtures before the North London derby, Spurs' fixtures look harder than Arsenal's, in my opinion. I mean, we go away to Brentford, who are one of the form teams in the Premier League. Then we're at home to Leicester, which, you would expect us to win that game. And then we're away to Liverpool. Arsenal, they got Man United at home, who can't seem to do anything at the moment. I mean, they're relying on Cristiano Ronaldo to get them out of jail whenever they do win the game. Then they play West Ham in the middle of their two European games, which we all know West Ham after a European game, usually don't produce the goods, and then they play Leeds at home and we play Liverpool away. So on the face of that, our fixtures look harder than Arsenal's.
I would say that, first of all, Man United, given how bad their performance was against Liverpool, I'm hoping that there is some sort of reaction to that. Obviously, after they got trounced against City 4-1, they then went and beat us the next week. It wasn't an amazing performance, but it was definitely better than the one they put in against Man City. So I'm hoping there is a bit of a reaction from Man United on the weekend, and maybe it won't be as easy as they've been to play against over the past few weeks. And obviously the appointment of Ten Hag announced today, maybe, I mean, we all knew Ten Hag's the manager anyway, but maybe that could be a bit of a catalyst for Man United to up their performance on the weekend and prove something.
Ronaldo might be back as well this weekend.
Ronaldo might be back. And look, United have good players. And it has been clicking for them a lot recently. But who knows? With the players they have, it could click for them on Saturday. I'm not saying they will. They've been awful recently. But we always know, for some reason, when Man United play Arsenal, they usually up their game. That is true. It's not usually a easy game for Arsenal in that one. So I don't think it's going to be a walkover. But right now, if you're saying who's going to win, obviously Arsenal are favourites at the moment for that, considering how United are playing. And then West Ham away. First of all, Leicester also in Europe, so you could make the same case for that.
Yeah, but I'm saying you expect us to beat Leicester.
Yeah, West Ham away for Arsenal. As I said, they're as much as they have European exploits. West Ham at home, they're usually difficult to beat. They might not win the game, but they rarely lose games at home. And they're going to set up to frustrate Arsenal. And also they're very good at set pieces, which obviously Arsenal are quite good at, but it means they can counteract that with how good they are at set pieces as well. And with how West Ham defend and how they play, they're going to be set up to try and nullify Arsenal, which Chelsea were not in midweek. So I don't think that's a game where Arsenal are guaranteed to win either. Do I think Arsenal are going to get 6 points out of 6 in their next two games? I don't. I reckon they'll drop points in at least one of them. I really do. I'm not sure which one, but I think one of Man United or West Ham will take points out of them. If they win both of them, fair play to them. But and then obviously Leeds, who are a bit of an unbeaten run as well. But I can't see Arsenal dropping points there. But Leeds have become a bit of a difficult team to play against recently with Jesse Marsch. So I wouldn't say. I would say obviously Leeds is an easier game than Liverpool, but on paper, I would still say they have the tougher fixtures, because as much as Brentford are playing very well at the moment, they are where they are in the table for a reason. Is because their players. I know they're playing very well, won 5 out of 5 with Eriksen on the pitch, but they're still not of the quality of teams at the top of the table. Man United and West Ham are challenging for top 6 for a reason, because their quality of players are of a higher standard. So there's no excuse to fold against Brentford this weekend, however well they're playing. And then Leicester, I think, are obviously they got European exploits, and I think we should be able to beat them as well. So obviously Liverpool's tougher, but I wouldn't necessarily say that Brentford away and Leicester at home are tougher than United at home and West Ham away just yet. Just on the basis of that, I wouldn't necessarily say that.
I'll say the 3 games coupled together, I think on current form.
Yeah, if you put Liverpool in there, you would say probably,
I think the 3 games together coupled on current form, not just on paper, what kind of quality that they have on the pitch. When you're looking at the whole package together, with the way Brentford are playing at the moment, won 100% of games that Christian Eriksen has played. Leicester, I do think will win that game. And Liverpool away, which obviously, probably the hardest game in the Premier League that you can get right now.
But you would have said Brighton having not won in 7. That would be the easiest game in the league.
Obviously, it doesn't pan out the way you expect it to pan out every time. But I'm just saying, on current form right now, I'd prefer to have Arsenal's fixtures than our fixtures. Me personally.
I still think I would prefer ours. And then you got to remember the last 2 games, Newcastle away and Everton. I would much rather have Burnley and Norwich for me. Yeah. So those fixtures definitely go in our favour. So I think, look, I just think if we're playing that game, it comes down to North London derby, and if we go into that game level on points, then we still have the advantage, and we still have the advantage now. But definitely, Arsenal have gotten a leg up from yesterday. The thing is now on the weekend, Arsenal play Man United, and whatever happens in that game, it's gone from whoever gets points, or we're gaining points then if we beat Brentford. Now it's like whoever gets points in that game, they're gaining points on us. That's how it feels with that game. But with United having played a game more and having Chelsea in midweek, which I'm hoping they'll put in a better performance than they did against Arsenal, you would have to hope Man United win that game on the weekend. That's where you got to think. Obviously, a draw is the perfect result, but I think we need Man United to get a result to make sure that Arsenal don't gain even more confidence in this game would have
even
gotten
if
them.
United win and we don't beat Brentford this weekend, it could end up that all three of us are on the same points going into this 5-game run-in.
Correct.
Which would be absolutely crazy. And I think
that's if we lose to Brentford.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we lose to Brentford and Man United win, we go into this run-in, 5 games to go, with all on the same points, and then in that case you cannot
game in hand on United.
Yeah, against Arsenal, but you can't rule out Man U then if that's the case. If they're going to beat Arsenal, they can go on a run from now until the end of the season.
You can't as long as the gap is this small, you can't rule out any of the teams who are in that gap right now. If you're within 1 game of that position, you can't rule it out, because any team at this moment have proven they can slip up in any game. So of course United are definitely in it, but we have to kind of pick our battles. And I think on Saturday our battle is hopefully Arsenal don't win, because they're the team right now who are in the best position to take fourth of us. So we have to hope. But even if it's United win, we have to hope that United get something on the weekend. But it definitely makes the top 4 race a lot more. If it was always interesting, but it's definitely even more compelling now after that result yesterday, because it is so tight. There's so little margin for error now. We maybe could afford to have lost a game, and now it feels like maybe we can't.
Oh, we did lose a game, and it could prove to be a very detrimental loss. The one against Brighton. Depending how the next few games go, obviously. But it does at the moment. It looks like such a bad loss, that Brighton loss. If we were 3 points above Arsenal right now, I think we'd be a lot more calmer. But obviously, Arsenal pulled that result out the bag yesterday, and the way I'm looking at it is just in such a negative light.
Why? You shouldn't be looking at it negatively.
This Brentford game, I just think, like, before this game against Chelsea, I was looking at this Brentford game and thinking that we're going to slip up. And now we got to respond to the pressure, because it's heavy pressure on Spurs now, especially as Man United and Arsenal play earlier.
Pressure's on us.
Heavy pressure on Spurs now.
Pressure's on us, but we have players who have been in this position before. So let's hope we can cope with it. And I know Brentford's going to be a really tough game. It really is. And, Brentford are playing really well at the moment. I have to say that, especially with Eriksen. He's going to be super motivated to show what he can do against us, because, with all the talks of him coming back, he's going to want to prove that he's worthy of coming back as well in that game. So I'm expecting Brentford to, with the crowd behind them, they're always tough away from home in that small pitch. It's going to be tough, but we have the quality. We have the quality to win that game. So we have to be confident that we'll go there and we'll take 3 points. That's what we have to cling on to, because even though we lost to Brighton, we're still on good form. We have to remember that. We're playing well at the moment. We had a poor result last time out, but before then we were winning games by big margins. So we have to hope we can recapture that form and take that into the Brentford game. It's going to be difficult, but I think look, however slender it is, the advantage is still with Spurs. We have to keep that belief. We can't think negatively of what's going to happen. United are going to roll over. West Ham are going to roll over. No, those are going to be difficult games for them. They will be difficult games for them, I'm sure. Because Arsenal, as much as they did well yesterday to win, I don't think it's going to be the same story in terms of how easy it was for them to get goals as it was yesterday. It's going to be a lot very, very different against Man United and West Ham. They're going to have their own motivations, and I'm sure they're going to make it difficult for them. So we've got hope. And look,
I've got more hope against Man United than I do against West Ham for Arsenal.
We just have to hope. We have to just focus on as Bob Spurs says, we have to focus on ourselves. Doesn't matter what the Arsenal do. If we keep winning, then we stay ahead of them. That's the main thing. So yeah, it'll be nice if they drop points, but Spurs have to focus on Spurs. If 100%. We do that, we go into the North London derby ahead of them. That will be the crucial thing.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, if we do start dropping a few points before we play Arsenal, then it looks very hard. It will look very hard. That's assuming if Arsenal win. But, I think there will be quite a few twists and turns left to go from now until the end of the season, even though there are only 6 games left. No, I agree with you. I think that Spurs are slightly still the favourites, but it is very slightly now.
Yeah, I think it's gone from like last week after Brighton won against Arsenal. It probably and Spurs beat Villa. Percentages, it probably went to like 60% Spurs to get top 4. After we lost to Brighton and Arsenal lost as well, I would say, even though in theory it's as you were, I actually think our percentage went down a bit because of that loss to about 55%, and now it's like 52% Tottenham. I would say, no, probably less, probably like 51% Tottenham. Like at the moment, it's 50, like a very slight
50.5%.
I would say it's like 51%. That's how I would look at the percentage. But look, we still have that 1%, but that could be wiped out in an instant. So, but you got to remember as well, we could go into the North London derby 3 points behind and win to overtake them.
Yeah.
So there's still a chance.
That's a big thing. There is
still a chance, even if we are 3 points behind. If that could be the situation, we could still overtake them with a win at home to Arsenal with the crowd behind us. First North London derby with the full stadium. So I can't believe it's been this long.
Yeah.
But it's the first under the North London derby with the full stadium behind us. You got to hope we'll make it a cauldron and we'll turn up for that game. You have to hope for that. So.
Do you think
I don't want to bank on
hinges on that game?
At the moment, it looks like it. I don't want to bank on it all hinging on that game, but it could well do. It could well do how things are going. It depends. If Arsenal keep up these standards, then it's going to hinge on that game. But I'm banking on the fact that I reckon in one of those 2 games over the next 2 they'll drop points.
That's what I'm kind of holding on to. That if we do go into that North London derby 3 points behind, we can end up that day above them. That's the kind of advantage that we do have. That goal difference that we have made up in the last few weeks is massive.
Could be massive now. It looks like it. Looking like it's crucial.
But it's all to play for. It is absolutely all to play for in this top 4 race. For all the people that came on here and said that Spurs, this is done, it is far from done. It is far from done. Some big games ahead, absolutely big games, and we need to get back to winning ways this weekend against Brentford.
Doesn't matter what happens at Arsenal or United. We just have to win.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Exactly.
We just have to win in the week and then we're still in the position.
All right, so that is our opinion on the top 4 race. We both in agreement that Spurs are still slightly the favourites by a thread, hanging by a thread of the favourites in this top 4 race. And now I want to get you guys on to have your say. What is your opinions in the top 4 race? And let's bring on the first guest, and that is Hassan. How you doing, Hassan?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, mate. Good, mate. What was your reaction to the game last night?
Yeah, so I'm in Australia, so I can't actually watch the games like live. So I woke up, I was just gonna check, expecting Chelsea 3-1, Chelsea 4-2, and I saw the score. And I'm not gonna lie, heart did drop a bit because I was really hoping that Chelsea could pull us a solid for once and rob Arsenal of 3 points.
You can never rely on Chelsea as a Spurs fan, ever.
Yeah. And it puts us in a really hard position now. We have to win every single game. Simple as that. I mean, obviously with the North London derby being at home, it just gives us a little bit of a buffer and that goal difference. But
it's difficult. Do you, considering now Chelsea, Arsenal have one of those really tough games out of the way. How do you see the run-ins now? It looked quite favourable for Tottenham before this game. Is it still the case?
Yeah, I was looking before, you're thinking, okay, Liverpool's our only tough game. They got Chelsea, Man U, West Ham, and you think, okay, they got a rougher run-in. But after they pulled that and the way Man United folded against Liverpool, you'd back them to beat Man U, and West Ham, like you said, it's in between European games, so they might falter. And then you look at what we have, and we got Liverpool right before that North London derby. And if that Liverpool game goes south really badly, which I hope it doesn't, that might, change the stakes of the North London derby and our sort of momentum and our mood. So, yeah, those easiest fixtures, as people were saying, sort of now look a bit more ominous, in my opinion.
What's your confidence like, Hassan, going into the last 6 games of the season? Do you think we're going to do it?
I mean, I want to say yes, But I mean, I also thought we were going to smash Brighton at home, and that didn't happen. So it's difficult to say, especially as a Spurs fan. But I think there are only really two ways to stop us, in my opinion. Is if the team plays a low block, or if they put three midfielders in, because that's what Brighton did, and that stopped us. And all the other teams low blocks, they stopped us. So if we play teams that don't do that, I think we have a good chance of winning. But if it doesn't, then who knows? But I hope that the boys come together and try to bounce back and hopefully get a good win at Brentford, because you can't afford to drop any points now.
Do you expect that result yesterday to give a renewed confidence to our young Arsenal team?
I mean, I'd expect so. But again, they've also been up and down as well. They've come off three losses. You thought, okay, after the Crystal Palace loss, they'd bounce back. After the loss to Brighton, they'd bounce back, and then they didn't. So you'd think that it would, spur them on to keep going onto the next games, but it might not. So hope Man United somehow do something favorably. I want to draw like a 0-0 or something, but who knows at this stage? Because if Man United win, then all of us are on 57, and then it's like, how has that even happened? I still can't get my head around how we've won, like 4 games in a row, all that, and Arsenal have lost 3 games in a row, and somehow we're still level on points. And it pisses me off a lot that that's still the case after all the hard work we've done.
Like a bad rash, they just won't go away. They just won't go away.
Yeah, and if Man United win, then they're also there. And they've been so poor this entire season. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell's happening with this top 4 race. It's not a race at the moment. It's just who can lose the least, really, at this point.
Are we still favourites, Hassan? Are we still favourites?
I mean, if you look at who we have as a manager, that front three, you have to put us as favourites at the moment, because on our day we could beat Liverpool. We've done it at City. We probably could have won that game that we played them at home, Liverpool. So I'd still put us favourites, but I mean, it changes each week. I mean, after that, when Arsenal lost and Man United lost to Everton and we won, everyone's like, okay, Spurs are there, they've got it now. And then we lose to Brighton and Man United win, and people are like, oh, Man United's back. And now Chelsea lose to Arsenal, and people are like, oh, no, Arsenal back. So every single week it changes to one of those 3 teams. So it's tough to say about, I'm a Spurs supporter, so I got to put our team in front.
All right.
All right. Well, let's hope for the best, and let's hope we can get back to winning ways this weekend. Hassan, keep those fingers crossed, and thanks for coming on today, mate. We'll see you soon.
No worries. Thank you. See you. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Spurs. Let's keep going. I think the lines are very busy today, and let's go off to Mikey.
Hey, guys.
You all right, Mikey? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, could be better after last night. Obviously, we did the watch-along last night, and I was absolutely distraught with what was going on that pitch. I have never seen a luckier team, to be honest, with the goals that they scored yesterday, albeit they probably were the better team and wanted it more on the day. How did you assess the game last night? Did you get to see it?
I haven't even watched the highlights. I was really busy last night because I came back to uni from going to my parents over Easter, so I've been having a lot of work to do. And to be honest, I don't really follow the other London sides because it just depresses me when they win. So yeah, I've been extremely busy this week, but I did manage to catch the result. I was like following along, and I saw it went 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, and I was like, will Chelsea equalize again? But no. I have a feeling that a lot of Arsenal fans this morning are going to be bashing their head against the wall that they've been starting Alex Lacazette ahead of Eddie Nketiah all this time, when that could have been the key for them. Scored 2 goals yesterday, had an overall good performance. I assume you get 2 goals, you have a good performance. So
well, Mikey, I mean, they served both those goals to Eddie Nketiah up on a silver platter, literally.
I haven't watched the highlights. Probably should watch them.
Watch them back, and then see if you got the same opinions on Eddie Nketiah.
All right. Well, still 2 goals against Chelsea. No matter how they come, you take that.
Yeah,
even as
true.
So yeah, just a really disappointing result for us. I said I actually commented to my girlfriend. I was like, before the game, I was like, I hope they draw because I don't want to see Chelsea win as a Tottenham fan. But I really like for a top 4 race, we really don't need to see Arsenal win. So a Chelsea win, would have been more favourable for us in the long run. But it is what it is. We were nowhere near our scintillating best against Brighton. I didn't come on the match review, so I haven't really had a chance to explain my comments on that. And I won't take up time because you've got 5-6. We've got 4-5 people yet to come on, including some very special regulars. So I think that especially after the Brighton game, the pendulum has definitely swung away from us, but not completely away from us. If Man United win against Arsenal, then that will sort of put us all on the same game. Man United, they have played a game more, so if we win our game, then obviously we'll go ahead of them, and Chelsea still have. But it's like if Man United win against Arsenal, it's not very good for us. If if Arsenal win against Man United, it's not good for us. If Man United win against Arsenal, still not good. But a draw would give Arsenal a point on us. So we kind of Man United to win that.
We'll put it this way: if Arsenal win, then we have to beat Brentford to go fourth. But if United win, we only need to draw against Brentford to stay fourth.
Of course, we play Brentford this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have loads of Tottenham fans come around my area. Then I better go out to the stadium and say hi to a few of them. No, yeah, because obviously I'm in uni, like right near Brentford, so I'll be trying to cop tickets for the game all month, and they're just too expensive. But yeah, look, it's been might even see you guys now. It's been a rough and. What's the word? What am I thinking of? It's been a very topsy-turvy. That's what it's been a very topsy-turvy top 4 race, and I can't really put my finger on a favorite at the moment because, Man United, they're in a patchy run of form, but they've now got the appointment of Erik ten Hag to look forward to. So they might almost be thinking now that they've got their next season rebuilding project officially confirmed. They might sort of be able to play with a bit more freedom this season, knowing the pressure's off. Even if they don't make top 4, the Ten Hag rebuilding project starts sort of as soon as the final whistle goes on the final game of the season for them. So maybe that might renew them playing with less pressure. We've seen it with the likes of relegated sides when they no longer have to worry about fighting for survival. All of a sudden, they start to come alive and play as if they were in the Premier League for established Premier League team for years. So. Who knows? Maybe with less pressure, they'll play better. Obviously, Arsenal, lost 3 in a row, but then win against Chelsea. They it's reminiscent of when we were on a bad run of form, lost 4 out of 5, and then went to the Etihad and beat Man City.
Yeah.
Maybe if that goes the same way as that did, then they'll end up losing their next game and then come into form when it's too late. And then obviously Spurs are Spurs. I love this club so much, but it's true that. Whenever there's any sort of pressure, we don't handle it particularly well. When there's pressure on us, our players don't really tend to handle that pressure well. But I'm hoping that Conte and his new mindset will reinforce sort of the idea that this top 4 race is ours to win. It's ours to get. It's not because if the Spurs players start thinking of it as it's ours to lose, then that's when the pressure mounts to a breaking point. But if you think of it as a goal to achieve, not as a goal to defend, then obviously they'll hopefully respond a lot better. But yes, I do think top 4 race is anyone's guess. But
Mikey, does it come down to the North London derby?
I think whoever wins that derby will definitely finish above the other. And obviously honestly, it all depends on the games running up because we've got 3-4 weeks left of the season. We've got 4 weeks of the season left, 6 games to go. Wait, what? We haven't got any midweek games, and yet
we do. Arsenal midweek. Oh
yeah, the Arsenal game is midweek. Okay, so we've got the 5 week. All right, fair enough. Sorry, the math didn't compute in my head for a second. So yeah, we've got 4 weeks left, 6 games, and we've still got to play Liverpool at Anfield. You know, we were all like, oh, we've got to still play Liverpool at Anfield, but Arsenal have still got to go to the bridge. Well, they've gone to the bridge, and they've taken Chelsea. Like, we didn't score a single goal against Chelsea this season, and they've scored 4.
Yeah.
Like, we've played them double the amount of times that Arsenal have. Like, imagine how that's going to weigh on the mind of a few of the Spurs players, knowing that we've played them 4 times, not scored a single goal, and yet Arsenal have managed to score the same amount of goals that we scored against them 3-4
Can't you look at it the other way as well, that Arsenal didn't take any points off City and we took 6?
Yeah, you can put it that way. But as a Tottenham fan, who do you care more about, Chelsea or City?
Yeah, it's not about who you care more about. Who's the better team, Chelsea or City?
Probably Man City, let's be honest. All right, fair enough. Yeah, you can definitely look at it. There's as a Spurs fan, I'm just programmed to think more negatively, I guess.
Aren't we all?
Well, no. On a serious note, I know that I haven't had a chance. I just want to say condolences to Cristiano Ronaldo and his family. I know that it's been everywhere, all over social media, but I just wanted to say one more time that I really do feel for him, and it's so respectable that he's come back to help his team try and fight for the top 4, like days after losing, like your baby son. So that's I just want to say a big respect to him, and
absolutely.
I hope he's doing well. But yeah, I won't take up much more time because I know that you didn't spend this much time at the sand, so I won't leave the other guys. In the wilderness. So I'll just say, come on, you Spurs. I think the top 4 race is definitely going to heat up over the next few weeks, and that derby game week by week is getting more and more and more important.
Absolutely. Mikey, thanks for coming on today, mate, and we'll speak to you next time.
See ya.
All right, let's keep going. Let's go to George. Long time no speak, George. How are you?
Hey, guys, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, all right. I mean, I was absolutely thrown for 6 last night watching that Arsenal-Chelsea game. I mean, what did you make out of it? Do you think Arsenal deserved the win, or do you think Chelsea just served it up to them on a silver platter?
No, I think they well deserved it as well. I mean, I'm sorry to say I actually predicted the result yesterday. I was hoping for a draw, but I could see it coming. I mean, Chelsea don't really have anything to play for at the moment. They've got 3rd pretty much sewn up. They've kind of living a little bit with the disappointment of coming out of the Champions League as well. So they've only got the FA Cup to contend with. So why risk the injuries? And Arsenal just wanted it, and that's what I saw last night. And they went for them and they got the result, and it is what it is. I understand sort of what you're saying, that some of those goals were gifted to them. At the end of the day, you still got to score them. I mean, a couple of the Chelsea goals. I mean, Werner's first goal, I mean, was a bit of a joke as well. I think it took about 2 deflections, I think, before it actually went in. So really, really disappointed. I'm still kind of trying to live with the disappointment of last Saturday. So it's a struggle at the moment. It's a struggle.
If you're looking at obviously there's a big North London derby coming up, but if you're looking at the fixtures leading up to that, everyone was saying we had the more favourable fixtures, but now after Arsenal beating Chelsea, do you still believe that? We believe if you take those 3 games leading up to the North London derby, Arsenal have Man United at home, West Ham away, and Leeds at home, and we have Brentford away, Leicester at home, and Liverpool away. So whose fixtures would you rather have?
Look, it's really, really difficult to kind of try and read it that way. I mean, on paper, yeah, you'll probably say that we've got the easier fixtures. I don't quite see it in that way. I mean, it's a case of who's got the momentum at this point in time. And I think Arsenal at the moment, with that win, will have the wind in their sails, and we're going to be a bit deflated. Having said that, we've tended to have big victories when we've been in that position this season, or more recently anyway. So under Conte, we just need to win that Brentford game, and that is the pivotal game for me. You win that game, and things then end up a bit more pressure on Arsenal and on Man United. Don't forget Man United again. There's going to be a lot of those players. They're going to know Ten Hag's looking at them already. So they've got to be looking to have a few inspirational performances in there as well. It's a fascinating jigsaw puzzle for if you're a neutral. If you're a Tottenham fan, it's an absolute bloody nightmare.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, we spoke quite a while ago. You weren't confident of Spurs finishing in the top four, but with recent events, surely before this Arsenal-Chelsea game, were you feeling a bit more confident that we were going to finish in the top four?
Yeah, I think it's still. I would always say that it's going to boil down to capitulation here, and who just does it less now. I think we were handed a bit of a break when Arsenal went into their poor run of form, and coincidentally we went into our good run of form. So we made up a load of previous bad performances, and our goal differences are I still can't believe where our goal difference is now compared to where it was. So it may come down to that goal difference. I mean, the North London derby as well is going to be absolutely massive, probably the biggest North London derby that there has been for, I don't know, I don't want to sort of look back at history because we've tended to always fluff it, but it's a huge game now, that North London derby. I will probably still find a way, or circumstances will probably still find a way of it going to the last game of the season, even if we do win that game. But look, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, everything crossed, just to make sure we get a win at Brentford, and it's going to be a game-by-game basis, and we'll take it from there.
And having said that, what you just said about the goal difference, where it could come down to goal difference, does that mean you think that Spurs are slightly favourites for the top four?
Yeah, I think you've still got to put us as favourites. I think we've had we had the bad performance against Brighton. I think, again, trying to look at things positively, we've got to say that was a blip, maybe hopefully an exception to the rule. And Conte's got to get them right for the next game. I'm just hoping that was a bit of a perfect storm, that game, where absolutely nothing went right, including the players' attitude on the day. But the Brentford game is key to me to try and regain that momentum, and it's going to be really pivotal. It's very easy to start looking across the fixtures and say that North London derby is the one, but really they've just got to be focused on that Brentford game, get the 3 points by hook or by crook, and try and move on to the next one.
All right, George, absolutely brilliant call as always. We shall catch up with you very soon, but thanks for coming on, mate.
Nice one, George.
Come on,
Good to see you, mate.
Come on, you Spurs. All right, let's keep going. The lines are still very busy. Let's move on to Michael. How you doing, Michael?
Yes, hello guys. Long time no see.
I know. How you been?
Yeah, basically I've gone through COVID, and it wasn't as bad as the first time, but I still have like a cough and a runny nose. But
yeah, I think we're in the same boat, Michael.
Yeah, it's really annoying because like basically I feel fine, but sometimes I'm just like coughing uncontrollably, and well, doesn't matter. I want to say that I was never as pissed with Chelsea losing as I was yesterday, because like everything that happened yesterday was just a joke. Sorry guys, I have to mute someone in the background because I heard myself talking. Okay, sorry. Basically, because you guys know, my brother is a Chelsea supporter, and I was talking with him about this game, and he said to me that he heard and he saw some posts that Tuchel, or however you say his name, will try different lineups during those last 6 games, and those are supposed to be last chances for many of Chelsea players. But that lineup yesterday was just a joke, in my opinion. Like there was no way that Chelsea were winning this game with those players on the pitch, and I'm just really sad about it, because if Chelsea fielded their best 11, I don't think that Arsenal had any chances of winning that game. Like with Havertz played, if they had Rudiger in defense, Reece James wasn't playing right center back. Like everything about this lineup was really strange for me. And this game just went how you would predict it to go with those lineups that were fielded, and this really screws up with our confidence. I feel like, at least as a fan base, of course I don't know how players are feeling, but I just really can't see United doing anything at Emirates, and I'm starting to get a bit worried about this whole top 4 thing, because even though our fixtures seemed easier than Arsenal's, suddenly based on form, you could even argue that theirs are easier, and because the thing is that predicting anything with the form that the 3 teams fighting for top 4 are is pretty much useless, because I could clearly see Arsenal winning against United and West Ham, and then losing to Leeds, Newcastle, and us, for example. Like it's not out of the realms of possibility. And same thing with us. I could clearly see us winning with losing to Brentford and winning with Liverpool, and that just doesn't make any sense, pretty much. And I also said 3 teams fighting for top 4. I don't think that United are fighting anymore. Like you can clearly see the way they are. I don't know. I haven't seen Manchester United this bad ever in my life, and I've seen their matches for past 15 to 20 years, and this is probably the worst I've ever seen them, and that's just surprising. Like I don't know, guys. What do I know?
Well, if they
You've given your opinion
if
before,
they
but
beat Arsenal, they go level on points at us, and you have to say if they win, they've been the race, aren't they?
yeah, but they will have 2 games more played than us by that time, before we play Brentford, right?
Correct.
So then, if we win, then we'll be 3 points ahead with 1 game in hand. I know the whole game in hand things has proven many teams wrong this season, but I just feel like based on their morale and the way they are playing, I don't think that they will master a challenge. I still predict Chelsea to win with them, and I still think that they have West Ham to play it, possibly away. I'm not
Yeah, they
sure
do.
about
They
that,
have.
but
I believe they have West Ham as well. Did you watch the game
yeah, and
yesterday, Michael?
yes, I did.
Based on what obviously you said, Chelsea's lineup was poor, but based on what you saw from Arsenal, was it a case of them being brilliant, or did you feel like it was handed to them?
I know this is a rival team, and I will never maybe look at them objectively. Yes, objectively, right. I was thinking subjectively, sorry. Yes, I will never look at them objectively, but I feel like it was more about Chelsea giving them the game rather than them being brilliant. Of course, Smith Rowe's finishing was really great, but the other 3 goals were pretty much just like a gift. And as I said, I feel like if Chelsea fielded their strongest 11, Arsenal would have no chances. And I still think that we cannot forget that the problems that they had in the previous games are still there, in my opinion. 2 key players are still injured. The fact that Nketiah scored 2 goals really doesn't mean much, because he won't score 8 or 10 goals until the end of the season now. He probably would maybe score 2 to 3 tops. That would be a nice achievement for this young kid. But you know, I just feel like we shouldn't get carried away with everything that has happened. And that being said, I also said that I was worried, but
Yes.
you know, I still think that we have a slightly better chance than them, because on paper, theoretically, our fixtures are easier. Based on form, maybe not so much,
Whose
but
fixtures would you prefer, though?
at this point, I still
As in the
think I
three
would say
fixtures before the derby.
three fixtures. I still would probably say ours, just because you know, Brentford Brentford is kind of a roller coaster for me. Like, we can win this game. I also feel like Leicester aren't doing that great. You know, they weren't doing that great throughout the season, but even their latest results weren't that good, and they also don't have anything to fight for. I feel like there will be many changes in that team when summer comes. And in terms of Liverpool, I know that this will probably like come back to bite me, but I feel like we have a system that works well against theirs. I know that their players, they are way better than us, like massively better than us. We have like 6 transfer windows until we get to their level, assuming they wouldn't improve in that time. But I just feel like there is something that can happen there, and you know, I feel like in terms of Arsenal's fixtures, theirs are quite harder in that terms, in that sense, that United have to bounce back, like, just for the to save their mentality. They have to prove something during that Arsenal game. I feel like West Ham are the type of the team that always treats London derbies with respect. I mean, with respect that they don't just give up on London derbies. And I feel like Leeds still want to be safe, will want to be safe, and they're technically aren't safe now, even though they have like a nice cushion between them and Burnley. But I feel like they will really fight for something, and I would still prefer our fixtures. Well, that was really long answer, but
No, that's what we were looking
Perfect.
for. That's what we're looking for. But Michael, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for calling in, mate.
And we'll speak to you soon. Hope you get better soon, mate.
Yeah, wish you better, mate.
You too, Ben, and
Thank you.
see you guys soon.
See you later, mate.
Just to be clear, you're negative with COVID now.
I am negative,
Yeah, okay,
yes.
just to make
I'm
that
negative.
crystal clear.
After post-negative cough still, though.
Okay,
Post-negative
just saying.
cough. All right, and now it's time for a little rendition of Something Inside So Strong.
Well, Barry, do you know that we will make it?
Are we going to find something so strong, Barry? What's going on?
Ben, what is wrong with you this morning? You're like Mr. Negative. You're not negative just with your COVID test. You're negative with your mood, mate. Come on.
I can't help it, mate. I can't help it, mate. That game threw me for absolutely everything last night, and I was absolutely brewing last night. Absolutely brewing.
I think there's two things that I kind of want to make a point of. First of all, we need to stop this getting all negative and the world's ending because Arsenal have gone to Chelsea and everything else. Not just you, Ben, everyone, right? Because we're doing it right. And look, Chelsea were never going to do us a favour. You saw the lineup. Tuchel's blaming the pitch. I honestly believe this is Sky and the Premier League and their corruption. This is what I'm going with now, because they took so long to name the North London derby. The only people that were pleased with last night was Sky, because they're sat there rubbing their hands together like, aha, we knew this was going to happen. You know, we told Chelsea to play a weakened squad. Who knows what's happening behind the scenes? They want this top 4 race to be us, the down to North London derby. They want Man U to be a part of it. It's just ridiculous. Those goals last night, I'm sorry, were just even Emma Smith Rose goal, which was a good team goal. Mendy didn't even make an attempt to try and save it. So it's like, honestly, and that penalty, Oh, mate, I'm brewing because of that. But all of those goals were just absolute gifts.
Yeah.
Even, like even Werner's goal. I mean, what the hell was going on last night? That's,
So yeah, in terms of Arsenal's performance, do you see, based on that performance, an upturn in form, or do you still think a lot of the problems that were there before the game will still be there in the run-in?
No, they were absolutely poor. They were giving it away, and the fact that Chelsea had who Chelsea had in their, how many times the ball was given away and they conceded their goals within 5 minutes of scoring it. It's just Arsenal are toilet. Honestly, they're absolute fraud teta. Fraud teta. I'm saying it now. They're all on their AFTV last night. Oh, we're gonna do it. Oh, can you hear Spurs fans now? Blah blah blah. Honestly, it's just. I was just having I was having a meltdown last night because of that, because I just knew what was coming. I don't see them doing anything, honestly, because Chelsea were like I said, Chelsea were never going to do us a favour, right? And like you said, Ben, you didn't want to support Chelsea to try and help us out. We don't need anyone to help us out. We just need to match the results, and we got top 4. It's as simple as that. As I said about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we go game by game. We get to the Liverpool game, and it'll be a bit more clearer. But why are we worrying? Why are we worrying what United and Arsenal are going to do? We don't need to worry about it. We just need to match the result. If they draw...
Easy does it, Barry, eh? Easy does it.
But that's what we need to think about, because no one... And I know someone in the back room is probably going to say the same thing, but no one was going... We weren't all going mental, like 7 wins out of 10. Look at us. We're going to smash the league and do all of this. No one was going crazy then, but
some people were.
We're going crazy after Brighton and what happened last night. I don't know whether I woke up in a different universe this morning. That could be possible, but yeah, I don't know. What I mean, you guys.
Barry, look in the run-in that leading up to the North London derby. On paper, you might argue we have the easier fixtures, but on form, you might argue Arsenal have the easier fixtures. What's your take on it?
All that matters is Saturday. All that matters is Brentford, and then we go from Brentford. We go to Leicester. Leicester. Just yesterday were awful. They're on the beach. Why we Leicester? And honestly, I agree with Michael. We've gone to City and done them. Why can't we go to Liverpool? Because City have beaten Liverpool, drew with Liverpool. Why can't we go and beat Liverpool? But I'm not thinking about that. Game at a time. Look
clearly.
I don't know. I think I'm quite emotional today. I don't know what's going on. But
that's what happens when Arsenal win at Stamford Bridge.
They're just honestly, Arsenal. Leave Chelsea. Those, I think the more frustrating thing is if we beaten Brighton, then top 3 was on. That's probably the most annoying thing. But look, yeah, if we look at the games. I still think we're gonna do it. I honestly believe we're gonna do it. I don't think that there's. I know we talk about pressure. I know we talk about the form. We talk about everything, but like we've seen the last few weeks, the games and the results, they've been unexpected, right? And who's to say that we don't? Who's to say we don't lose or get smashed by Brentford and then we go and smash Liverpool? That's how ridiculous these results have been. But look, if we just need to give it our all, right? Because who would have thought after Nuno had gone that we'd be even in this position? And that's what we need to be thinking about with this squad, with these players. We've massively overachieved, and I just think that it's ours for the taking. If we don't get it, then we don't get it. I'd be really disappointed because of the ramifications and repercussions, what that might happen in the summer. But let's just stay positive, everybody. Let's just get behind the team. Let's just not worry about
and up the Spurs.
And up the Spurs, and let's turn that negativity into we need to be positive, because if we go into it now, we're going to be going into Saturday thinking, are we going to lose? Then we're going to lose against Leicester. Then we're playing Liverpool. Oh, it's another loss in a row, and then who knows where we'll be. So let's just stay positive, boys, and let's see what happens game by game, and. Yeah, come on, you Spurs.
All right, love the positivity, Barry. Thanks for coming on, mate. And you've definitely put a smile on my face today. So come on, the Spurs.
Good. Cheers.
Big up, Barry. Let's keep going, though. Who is up next? It's Tommy, the Hotspur Hood. He steals from the rich and gives to the poor. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm okay. If Barry is good cop, I'm more pessimistic. I have to play bad cop, I think. I still think we've got a good chance in getting fourth. But that result last night, that really does change things.
Yeah. Do you think it was a deserved result for Arsenal, or was it just handed to them on a silver platter?
Oh, look, before the game, I think George mentioned it as well. You could predict that Arsenal were going to win the game, but the way it happened, I mean, the goals were atrocious. I mean, Christensen started it off, just gave it to Nketiah. Nketiah can't score goals. I think he scored one Premier League goal in his career before that, maybe two. He's an awful striker. And then the second goal was a deflection that just fell perfectly in his path as well. So I think in many ways it was a fortunate win, but you got to be in the right position at the right time. And look, they do have a good attack, Arsenal. They do have a good Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka, Odegaard. They got a good attack, and the North London derby is going to be
got a good attack without any attackers.
They're three behind the striker are very good. The three behind the striker are very good. It's almost slightly different to us in that we've got an outstanding striker, but we don't have that creative sort of number 10 where they've got Odegaard and Smith-Rowe. They put Smith-Rowe on the left, but he's a natural number 10. So we've got Kane. They've got the number 10s. So it's going to be a massive North London derby, and I think it's all riding on that. I honestly,
you think
do.
It's literally all riding on that?
I do. If one team comes out as victor, I think they'll finish above the other. Man United are out of it. You look at their fixtures. Man United are gone. 5 games left. They've got one less game. Same with West Ham. They got Arsenal and Chelsea next. It's got to be between us and Arsenal. It has to be.
But having said that, United go to the Emirates and win this weekend. They're level points with us.
It's crazy. That's how football. It's mad. We say you're out of it and you're in it, and then you're in it, you're out of it. I mean, we have gone crazy. We have, as soon as when we got the four wins on the bounce, everyone was saying top four, 100%. Whatever happens, we get into the top 4. After Brighton. And now this Arsenal victory, we're brought down to earth. But look, Arsenal lost to Brighton as well. So
and
it's
Palace
not as bad. Exactly. So it's not as bad. It's not as bad as it seems. But one depressing aspect, one thing that really depressed me was the fact that we've played Chelsea 4 times, and then it's 8-0 on aggregate. They've beaten us 8-0 on aggregate, and Arsenal scored 4 goals against them. That is,
Arsenal were gifted 3 of those goals, so I wouldn't read too much into that. I mean, look, you can look at it any way you want. You can spin it in any narrative you want. You can say that we've beaten City twice and they've lost to City twice. So I'm sure there's other teams that we've beaten they haven't, and vice versa.
Got 1 point against Liverpool. They got 0 out too.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So there's loads of different narratives you can spin from it. But when you're looking at the next 3 fixtures, Spurs' next 3 and Arsenal's next 3 before that North London derby, whose fixtures would you prefer?
No fixture's easy in the Premier League, and one of the reasons are, even if you're already relegated, it doesn't matter, because I think there's like £4 or £5 million on each position, like between 20th and 18th. So teams will fight for every position. So I mean, going into the North London derby, I'm looking at the fixtures now. We got Brentford, Leicester, Liverpool. They got Arsenal, got Man United, West Ham, and West Ham. They're going to be fighting for Europe. So that might be easy as well. Leeds, Man United, West Ham, Leeds. I would prefer Arsenal's fixtures. I've got to say, I would prefer Arsenal's fixtures if I had to make that choice. But you never know. It's like we could lose to Leicester and beat Liverpool. No, you just don't know what's going to happen. You really don't know what's going to happen.
Are we still favourites? Do you still have us as favourites, Tommy?
I do, and I'll tell you why. It's Conte. Conte's experience. I think Conte's experience will just get us over. And another thing I was thinking actually this morning was the fact that we've got Kulu and Bentancur now. I think it's fair to say they're going to be in the first team from here to the end of the season. Juventus last season, they squeezed into 4th in the last day of the season in the Serie A. So they've got that experience. The Kulu and Bentancur have got that pressure around them as well. So the experience of Conte, as I said, Kulu and Bentancur are certainly going to be in the first team. They've got that, and that's a good thing. Getting these players from big clubs that have won things like Juventus. That's if we carry on like that into the summer as well, it'd be great for next season. But But for this season, to answer your question, I think we'll pip it because I think we'll beat we'll win in the North London derby. It's as simple as that.
So much for being the bad cop, eh?
Yeah, do you know what? It's like therapy. Do you know, a little bit. I'm still not as ecstatic as Barry, but then I guess no one is. So yeah.
Big up, Tommy. Thanks for coming on today, mate.
Nice
and
one,
we'll speak
All right,
to you
nice
soon.
one, boys. Take it easy. Yeah, take it
And
easy.
to you,
Yeah.
mate.
Come on,
mate.
Spurs.
Up the Spurs. Come on. All right. Who is up next? We've got KPV.
The man, the myth, the legend. Here he is.
Hello there. Hello.
How's it going, Carl? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm all good. Sorry, but Arsenal's goals last night were a joke. They only won by, I don't know, whatever said. They got lucky winning, so off by hand. But yeah, they got lucky. Christensen's side off was a joke. Mendy couldn't even save their goals. What's going on, man? I want to know what is going on. They got lucky. Ford, Arteta, whatever you want to call him, he needs to stop moaning and keep our name out of his mouth. As I've been saying the last few weeks, keep our name out of your mouth. And I know what you're going to say, whose fixtures would I prefer? And obviously, it's all the odds.
You're doing our
That's
job
what you're
for
gonna
us,
listen.
Carl. Big up.
Big up, my man. Yeah, I would prefer our fixtures, not theirs, because I just put a minute ago, I hope it's a 0-0 draw in the game on Saturday, because whoever wins, they go level on points, and it's going to be Man United. But obviously, I would prefer a draw, innit? I know you'd probably want to win out of Man United, but anyone in the chat, would you take a draw in the big game on Saturday?
We'll get the chat to answer. But Kyle, did you reckon Chelsea wanted Arsenal to win yesterday?
No, I don't think so. I know none of us like them too. Ben, I said in a super chat, I hate Arsenal more than I do Chelsea. I hate both of them now. I don't like them. No one likes them too. But I suppose Chelsea wanted Arsenal to win, but none of us did. And Truth called out expressions last night on Twitter. Where are you, G? But he didn't reply back because, but yeah, I suppose they wanted Arsenal to win last night. But Tuchel blamed the pitch and the players. But what can I say? I saw Aspilicueta confronting a fan.
Yeah, what was that all about last night?
I don't know what it was, but yeah.
Carl, are we still going to get top 4?
Come on! I told you that last week. Oh hell yeah!
You also told us Spurs were going to beat Brighton 6-0.
Calm down, Ben. Take everything back what I said about that. Take everything back what I said. But yeah, I think it's time we stop relying on other teams because Barry said game by game. I thought you guys were going to go live tomorrow, but it looks like you changed your plans, right?
We'll go live tomorrow.
We're going live tomorrow as well. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, and tomorrow we'll talk about the Ericsson derby, not today, because I know it's not Saturday yet, so take a seat, everyone, calm down. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, I suppose they wanted Arsenal to win, but I hope it's a draw in the big game on Saturday, because the rivalry between those two, you know what it's like in a game. There's been red cards, tackles, everything else, but this weekend, we take it game by game. We need to do our job, not rely on the other teams doing us a favour. But, yeah, let's hope we can beat Brentford this weekend. I'm not going to predict the score because we'll probably lose. But bear in mind, we've already beaten them, as I said, when I saw you two. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, and then we got Leicester, then Liverpool, then Arsenal, then Burnley and Norwich. So those are the games. I think I prefer us because we have the run in, and they still got to play us because they bottled, because they knew we were going to batter them. They sent players out on loan, postponed. So let's take it game by game. And
Carl, do you think it all boils down to that North London derby? Do you think that's what top 4 hinges on?
I'll probably say so, yeah. But we're at home, and their record at our new ground is not brilliant. They've lost,
Yeah.
what, 4 times there. So
4,
we're
is
obviously
it?
going to win. We're still going to win that game. We're at home, and they've got lack of foot up front and whatever they've called Smith Rowe, but they've got lack of foot up front. And but we have the best trio. But I think Kulusevski can get a goal in the North London derby. Dyer can. I know he's done it before. This is what he did to the Arsenal fans. I can see him doing it again. But Romero, maybe.
Maybe.
I hope he likes to abuse people. He abuses everyone. Kane, obviously, Kane loves this fixture. Son is now starting to like it, but game by game, as I said before that. But I think it does come down to the North London derby, who gets top 4, but it's going to be us. They
All right.
can.
We know.
They out
We
of
know.
Europe. We know. So.
We know.
Yeah, and I will see you tomorrow as well. And as always, come on, you Spurs. And as always, Levy out.
Big up, Carl.
Nice one,
Thanks
Carl.
for coming on today, mate. Thanks for coming
Good
on.
to see you, Carl.
We've got more guests. We got Ariane. His camera's off. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Bring on Ariane.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, Ariane? You all right?
Doing as good as I can after yesterday. That was horrible.
Yeah,
I went to sleep watching that match, by the way. That was a horrible way to go.
Talk to me about how demoralizing that was. And did Arsenal actually deserve the win yesterday?
It was bad. And the worst part is that they absolutely didn't. They scored 4 goals, and only one of them I can give them a little bit of credit for. Because honestly, I'm gonna be honest that second goal was actually kind of nice. Like, it was actually a pretty well built goal.
It was, Ariane, but even in that goal, they make a mistake. But no, I'm not saying that. But even in that goal, Arsenal make a mistake at the back, and Chelsea should have capitalised on that. And then suddenly Arsenal are up the pitch, and Smith Rowe's putting in a brilliant finish.
Yeah, that's like one. But the first one was a horrible mistake. The third one was a joke. A joke. If that happens in our back line, I'm calling for all the players' heads. All right.
Yeah.
And then the fourth goal, that penalty decision has to be looked at. That was an absolutely At first, I didn't blame the ref because it looks from that angle. I could see why it looks like a push. But when VAR, I'm thinking the second the replay is there, I'm like, all right, cool. This is gonna get ruled out. There's no worries. No one's gonna disagree. And then I see they just take it, and I'm just shell shocked because that was a terrible dive. And I fully expected Saka to be shown a replay of his dive in the post-match interview, but I guess that doesn't happen to other teams. It was just.
The only time in history that is ever going to happen is to Harry Kane.
Only time. And it wasn't even as bad of a dive. Like, I think everyone knows it was a dive, but it was not nearly as bad as whatever that was.
100%. Ariane, how's yesterday's result changed? Has it changed anything for you in terms of the top 4 race?
No. Everyone knows Chelsea kind of rolls over for Arsenal. I kind of saw it coming. I hated it. I knew it was going to happen one way or another. It happened in an even worse way than I thought it was going to happen, but I knew it was coming. They're a little bit like us. We did the double over Man City and lost to Burnley, right? The very next game. So who's to say they're not going to go and lose their next game 2-0? Who's going to say they're not going to go on another losing streak? You can't predict these things. That's why football is so good. It's so great. It's volatile. Things change all the time. So you can't really look at that result on the back, on 3 losses on the bounce. And they have, a fixture list that wasn't any more or less difficult than the 3 they just lost. So you can't look at the fixture list and go, oh, they're going to win all of these because they just don't have a good history of doing that. The same way you can't say that for us. We've won 3 London derbies out of the possible 7. And we have Brentford next who are on very good form. And, we have Liverpool somewhere in that fixture list. And we have a massive North London derby. Both have a pretty similar set of fixtures. Honestly, I know you guys are going to ask, which one would you prefer? I don't know. If I had to pick, I'd probably also pick Arsenal. I think theirs are a little bit – the teams they're facing have a little bit more on their plate. So maybe they're going to be a little bit more tired like West Ham. But, at the end of the day, I don't think it's changed as much as some people are saying because I never consider Arsenal to be 3 points behind us like everyone else did because everyone was kind of saying, they're 3 points behind now. I never thought – of it like that because that game in hand always did scare me, knowing it's against Chelsea, who seem to roll over for Arsenal at least once a season, and they hadn't done it yet. So there you go. That's where it was. And we'll just see what happens. We have the goal difference advantage, and I think that it might come down to that. That's the thing. It might come down to that.
Are we hoping for a Man United to win on Saturday, or is it a draw and the only good result?
I think either works because Man United are they're 3 points behind with a game in hand.
We have a game in hand. We have a game in hand on them. Yeah.
So, they're definitely threatening. They're not super threatening. I've said a couple times, I feel like they're gonna fluke it. I don't know. Something inside me doesn't like the way that they're moving, especially with Ten Hag coming in. I don't know. Something's not right with me with them. But I think hopefully they're behind enough to have a little bit of a push too late. I'm definitely hoping for a win though. If a draw happens, I'm not going to complain because any points dropped will work. But the thing I have with a draw is that it kind of negates goal difference if we drop points even once. And that's still an advantage that we lose. If they go ahead 1 point, then goal difference means nothing.
Yeah.
So I think a loss would still be better. I think if I had to pick a side, I definitely say I want United to win. I want them to win 4-0. Right, just demoralize, get it over with.
Do you still have Tottenham as favourites going into the late last part of the season?
I think Conte makes us favourites. I think that's the only thing that makes us. And also Arsenal do have some key injuries that luckily we don't have too many of. We only have Oliver Skip, and hopefully that list doesn't, and Matt Doherty, and hopefully that doesn't grow anymore. But they have Partey, who's kind of the heart of their midfield. They have both of their fullbacks out. Lacazette and Nketiah, what's the difference there? So, and also he was back in anyways, I think yesterday. So, they have a little bit of more, they have a few more injury problems than we do. I think there's just slight in the goal difference. I think those 3 factors make us slight favorites, but not by any margin where I would want to put money on it at all.
All right, Ariane, big few weeks ahead. Thanks for coming on today, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yep.
Nice one,
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
We had a super chat from Lee Richards, no message, by the way.
Big up Lee Richards. And we actually went through a whole interview with Ariane without speaking about Ben Davis once. What are the chances of that? What are the chances of that?
Get him back on.
Now, let's move on to a very special guest. Let's get Bob Spur on. Come on, Bob. Bob, piss off.
The king of positive energy. The king of positive energy. Bob.
Yes, Ben Davis, what a player.
Sorry, Ariane. How are you looking at the top 4 race now after yesterday, Bob?
Yeah, I think Sim mentioned it earlier. It's all about us. If anything, Brentford game becomes probably one of our most must-win games of the season. But, like Barry says, we should be positive, man. Arsenal just lost 3 games in a row. They've won against a very average Chelsea side. Yet everyone seems to be more concentrated on bigging up Arsenal than they ever did when we won 4 games in a row, 7 wins out of 10. It's you know what? I've probably realised, and Kim kind of mentioned it last night. The way I look at football now is a bit different to previously, before everything happened. And I think I probably need to stand back and realise not everyone's going to look at Spurs that way. If I look at it, 40 years of supporting Spurs will probably make me understand why the negativity is there and the apprehensions there as well. But I do think we just need to be positive. And I've said this in a couple of chats. If we brought the same positiveness as we do negativeness, if that's the word, negativity, after that's one. After a bad result, we're stressing over. We're getting depressed over a result between Arsenal and Chelsea. I can understand why, but it's still in our hands. It's all about us, man. And ignore, as hard as it is, but put the Brighton performance to one side. Sorry, I said Brighton before becomes a must-win. Brentford becomes a must-win. Put that. Look at the performances and the results prior to that. We can get all la-di-da about a 4-0 win away to Villa and say we were lucky, we were this, we were that, we were shit, yet we still come away with a 4-0 win. But we can't put that same objectivity towards an Arsenal win. And let's be honest, Arsenal weren't great, Chelsea was shit. So we need to look at that. We need to put that same mindset towards yesterday's result. So I'm confident. I'm confident.
But Bob, ultimately, at this stage of the season, it's not about how you perform. It's not about
Yeah.
how the other team perform. It's just about getting results on the board. And when you're looking at the next three fixtures before with the North London derby comes about, obviously we go away to Brentford this weekend, Leicester at home,
Yeah.
and then Liverpool away. Arsenal, on the other hand, they play United, West Ham, and Leeds. Whose fixtures would you prefer going into that?
Ours, because they're our fixtures. I don't care about Arsenal fixtures or Man United fixtures. I know that's an easier way and simplifying everything, but and I've said this to Stel. You know, Mister, we're not going to get fourth. If we don't beat Brentford this weekend, I won't be as confident. I'll still be confident, but I won't be as confident, regardless of Arsenal's result against Man United. I don't care about that. It's all about us and our must-win games. But if we fail to beat Brentford, I'll be confident we'll still finish top four. And I think that home game against Arsenal becomes the biggest derby of certainly my recent times, apart from the semi-final in '91. But I wouldn't be as confident. Yeah, I mean, I know they're simplifying it, Ben, but I don't care about. I mean, of course, I was watching the game last night, and of course, I was pissed off to see Arsenal win. But it's not about them. We still need to do our bit, and that's our fixtures. I expect us to beat Brentford. No one's talking. You know, it's all doom and gloom because we lost against Brighton. They didn't perform that well against Man City last night. They're coming off a defeat. Leicester.
No, that was Brighton.
We always do it.
Brighton played Man
Oh,
City.
Brighton. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Sorry. I'm still on meds. So Brighton and Brentford. But yeah, I expect us to still qualify top four, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you put us as favourites still slightly, or do you? Or
Yeah. Yeah, we're fourth. The goal difference and the fact we've got Arsenal at home, I think, puts us firm favourites right now. The bookies certainly have us favourites as well. But the Brighton game, Brentford game at the weekend, if we don't win that, then I'll still be confident, but just not as confident. But I'm with Conte, Harry Kane, Sonny, Decky, Lloris, Romero. I think we've got every right to be positive and certainly expect us to finish fourth. We just need to show the same positivity that we do negativity when one game, let's be honest, one game out of our last 10 really, apart from Burnley, we've not really performed. We'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. Fourth is ours, and if you dare, come and take it off us.
All right, you heard it here first. Bob Sir says fourth is ours, people. Bob, absolute pleasure having you on the channel as always, and we'll speak to you soon.
Nice one, Bob.
Big up the NHS.
Big up to the NHS, Bob says as he's parting. Let's keep going. There's more guests in the background, and let's go to Jory VFX.
Oh, at Jory VFX. Nice.
Jory, how's it going, mate?
Hey, guys. Good. I just put it in there because a couple of times ago, people have been asking about my social. So this is my Instagram handle. So if people want to...
All right, so everyone go and follow and connect with Jory. That is his Instagram handle on screen right now. But Jory, what was your opinions on the game last night, and what impact is it going to have in the top four, in your opinion?
So I was on a shoot last night. I tried to listen to the game as much as I could, but I was doing like a music video, so I couldn't really hear half of it. So. But I mean, I was, to be honest, a little bit shocked that Tuchel went so soft in his lineup for this, because I mean, I feel like it's almost a little bit arrogant of him, because third place is not a secure thing, we could come and get it for that matter, so if we do our thing, but that being said, I was definitely a little bit annoyed at first, but then I thought a little bit about it. And if you think about it, guys, like this now it's like, and it's of course, typical is like is almost like a bad script. It's very much what like who was it that said was Barry that said he suspected the FA to or Sky Sport or something being behind this conspiracy of making the North London derby this dramatic
Yeah.
all or nothing game. So and it's almost ridiculous how it always comes down to something like that. But I was gonna say like having none of these outs, don't having to rely on only ourselves. In, even though we want to get results and all of that, you know, when you really look at it, that's really what we should want, because if our big players now don't step up and get this over the line, because it is theirs to get over the line, if they really show up and perform, we'll be fine. If they don't, they are an ingrained part of the Spursy problem. And if that's the case, then it's clear what needs to happen in this club, even with some of the senior members of this squad, and then we need to rebuild that and change that. And if that doesn't happen, which like you guys were saying, you were hearing some worrying rumors that Conte is quite upset and stuff like that, So if that doesn't happen, well, then the club is, we're back to the same Spursy board, and then there's nothing to hide behind anymore. Then there's no illusions for us to grab onto. So I know it's not like positive, but still, we should really, especially with Conte here, we should really take comfort in the fact that we don't have any excuses to hide behind. So, if our big guys step up now, we'll be fine. You know, but if they take their eye off the ball, as they've done so many times in the past, we need to part ways with these people, and that includes Kane. If Kane doesn't put it in fifth gear now and gets it over the line, well, then, everybody will be better off parting ways. We cannot be facing yet another season, having it in our grasp, and then just for mentality reasons, letting it go. We need to get players that have this fortified mentality to get stuff over the line. And now we're going to see, our senior players up to the task. So
Jory, do you think the fact that Arsenal are level on points now, they have got that unexpected result, and the fact that there is very little margin for error, do you reckon that will benefit our players, or do you think the pressure will get to them?
Yeah, well, I think good. I think that's what we're up against now. Now we're up against the same pressure that has failed, that has kind of made this squad crumble more than once. So I believe Conte will get them over the line for sure. I believe a little bit. Yeah, Conte took, went, gave them a bit of a what do you call it, carrot, instead of being on the whip completely with the 2 days off and all of that. I think Kane did his own little version of a superstar Spursy stuff. Like I don't blame him for anything, but if Kane was that focused on this, he wouldn't take on the jet lag for such a trivial thing. So I think all of them can definitely like I said last time, if this is the consequence of us screwing things up, we should rejoice, because it's easy to like we haven't burned down the castle, and we can still react to it. We can still get back into the spirit that we clearly were in before this break, before Conte got the COVID and stuff like that. So I think exactly it's I mean, I believe, and that was your question, Sim. I believe that yes, Conte, I believe it's there. I believe that it kind of blipped for a moment. I think one good week with Conte, it will be full force again. My biggest worry is only really the movement that we don't have now from Doherty. That kind of flanking movement is missing now. Sessegnon could bring some of it on his whichever side he's going to end up on. So I hope Sess is going to start for the next game. But I think like the biggest lesson from last game is if we're going to play out, we need to be super quick first touch. We need to have a lot of movement in our own half, like players making themselves available for passes and so on. That wasn't happening. It was more like the old Spurs that we saw last game. So hopefully, everybody's learned their lessons. I mean, I think it is a little bit disconcerting seeing the first half of Aston Villa like this, and then the Brighton game. But it's also ammunition for Conte to tweak everything, to go over everything, and so on. And I hope also, by the way, I hope Conte will be more on his game and have better in-game management than last time, because that kind of disappointed me a little bit, his subs and so on. But I think, I mean, my belief is that it's for Conte to fix it. I was of the opinion that the Conte machine had started, and maybe there was some leftover Spursy residue, that had to be squirted out the system, and now it's out, right? That's what I believe, and that's my hope. And I don't know about Brentford, because now we have this kind of blueprint for stifling us out there, which is close us down really, really hard pressure from the first touch way back at the fence, and but or I don't know, you guys maybe have some input on that. What Brentford is likely to do there.
I think Jory, I think they will look at that kind of blueprint and they'll try and implement it. Yeah. But their danger man is obviously Eriksen, and who's better to combat Eriksen than Antonio Conte? Exactly. He's had him in the squad. He won the league with him. He'll know his flaws and he'll know his strengths. So that makes me a bit more positive about the game.
They are good at set pieces, which is a bit of a problem. Long throws as well. We haven't really had to deal with many long throws.
No, so that's also exactly, they're very good at set pieces, and that's maybe why I would think at least Conte is going to do whatever he can to. We've seen it in games before. Actually, some of our best games were where we basically kept most of the play in their half. Where we moved the ball so quickly over the halfway line that almost the whole game took place in their half. And hopefully we'll see that, and hopefully we'll see the good possession play, because I mean, even though we don't have as much of a flanking threat, it doesn't excuse possession play getting bad. That's even though Doherty wasn't like the be all of possession play, he had some good movement for the attacking stuff, but possession play should still be able to do the same, and I think if we can see that, move it out of our own danger zone really quickly, and then we can maybe, build a little bit more easy and keep the ball just as much as possible in their half, because exactly that those Eriksen free kicks and corners and whatever, I don't want to see too many of those, preferably none, so yeah.
All right, we'll have to see how it pans out over the weekend, but big few weeks ahead, especially this weekend. We'll see what happens. But Jory, thanks for coming on today, mate.
Nice to see you, Jory.
We'll see you soon.
One thing, guys, I wanted to hear your input on it. Actually, what do you feel like? Do you feel like the Arsenal United situation? Do you feel a draw, or what do you feel would be the best for us going forward?
Yeah, I think draw is obviously a perfect result, but I think if obviously you have to want United to win if there's going to be a winner, because not purely because Arsenal are more of a threat, but also just purely table-wise. If United win, all we need is a draw to be back in fourth, or to be clear of fourth. Whereas if Arsenal win, we have to beat Brentford. Otherwise, we're not in the fourth spot anymore. So we have to hope United get a result on Saturday, and hopefully the opponent of Ten Hag might give them some more motivation. But you don't want to give them too much motivation because you don't want them to go on a run either. But we need United to get a result on Saturday for sure.
Yeah, and also, I mean, now we have to assume that Ronaldo is out for quite a bit now, right? So
no, I think actually there's a chance he can play this weekend. He's back in training already.
Really? Oh my. Okay. I mean, I can understand that as well. Me and my wife had not quite the same experience, but a similar experience, and both things, like for me, when I had it working, actually helped out a lot. So you can understand that as well. But I was gonna say, because if they draw, I was thinking about this yesterday, and I think if they draw, if Arsenal, if they draw, then we have a 2-point difference, which kind of, in my head, it means that we kind of lose the 4th point being the goal difference a little bit, Now it's going to be a point game again, instead of the goal difference being a big factor. If we stay, if we keep staying in this 3-point brackets, so so I wasn't sure which result I preferred there, but I guess it's safer with having the point difference always. I don't know. Because I don't think United. I think United might actually react now, and because they had it's been such a bad period for them, and it's Arsenal. They have all the history there as well. So I think they might react to that, but in general, I don't think they're gonna do much out this season. So I'm not that worried, even if they would get all 3 points. I'm of course mostly worried about Arsenal getting all the 3 points, but I guess either way will be all right. And like I said, it's in your hands, Kane, Son, Hugo Lloris, Romero, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Kulu, so on. It's in your hands, so go take it.
Let's do it. Right. Let's do it, Jory. Thanks for coming on, mate, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
Just before we end the show, there are a few super chats to get through. Do you want to get through them?
One's from KPV saying, I hope Man United beat Arsenal on Saturday. Ronaldo loves a goal against Arsenal. We have from Aravind. He says, I'm showing more hatred towards Chelsea than Arsenal. We need to go and win the match in hand. And Esther says, morning lads, top 4 honestly depends on the next game. Everything is going to be clear next week.
Interesting. I mean, it is a massive week this weekend. It really is. And we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, you can't understate, how big this end to the season is, with it all potentially coming to a head at the North London derby. Which is mental.
We can't look too far ahead, I think.
No, we can't. Game by game, let's concentrate on Brentford. Let's concentrate on getting those 3 points this weekend.
And here's a good message from Lee Rich. He says, bit of perspective, everyone. Last month, we were 6 points behind Arsenal, and they had a game in hand.
Says Woolwich.
6 points behind Woolwich, and they had a game in hand. It's frankly miraculous we are currently in the position we are, with a good chance of top 4. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that as much as I was being a bit negative before, the bit of therapy has helped, and we're getting the top 4. So come on, let's do this. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.